Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Great Wizard Bukake, your host. Farthole Fartch is alive! Quinny was not pleased to have the goblin back. Moss pushed for a vote on the kingdom's new name, and Butthole used magic to determine which army generals to keep employed. What will happen now that a Wyvern rider has arrived at the castle? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
There is a tapping and a scratching at the window in the penthouse of the Black Castle as a wyvern scratches at the window, and its armor-clad rider kind of like points to the I mean, I assume there's like a polite little balcony for, you know, evil overseeing of
Sure,
kingdom.
yeah.
Pointing at the balcony door kind of insistently, hanging off the side, red glowing eyes and a massive bat-winged helm. Very like, you know, jet black armor, sort of curled into spikes, massive sort of like spiked pike on strapped to her back. Yeah, just very much leaning off, Spider-Man leaning off the side of this wyvern, out of saddle and pointing at the door.
I just as a point of order, has Quinny seen like a wyvern or wyvern before?
I don't think so.
What does this kind of creature look like?
So, very much like a dragon sans. I've always thought of more as like a Jabberwocky type of monster. So like a long sort of thin body with wings, with legs, but no arms. So you're basically just dealing with like a skinny dragon.
The wings are arms.
like
and it has
the
two
wings
back
are the
legs.
arms kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what you see as a dragon in a lot of media, but
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons being like much larger, kind of like
Sure, yeah.
torso with back, like wings on the
And like a
back.
long neck
This
on a
thing is
dragon.
like I am the wings.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
So still very, very spooky. The face very draconic.
Yeah, there's a very, I think, specific vibe that is being intentionally given off here by our bat-wing helmed black armor-clad rider. So Quinny will like arm himself, even though they're like politely knocking at the door. He'll summon forth a breach of contract just out of his hand into.
Cool. The rider does one of those head tilts that good mask work does.
Yeah.
And just kind of like nods approvingly as their red eyes glow.
Reginald's just going to point from the wyvern to the balcony and just be like, yeah, you're going to need to land there. Stop scratching the glass, and then we'll just open the door. Go over there. Just points to a sane landing place.
And the rider kind of does almost a double take at Reginald and immediately pulls the reins. And the wyvern just like basically barrel rolls, sort of skittering across the glass over onto the balcony, almost in a tumble.
Oh.
Before coming up, and the rider leaps off, and kind of like goes around to the front and like slips the wyvern a snack, and kind of like pats its snoot, and just comes and stands impatiently at the door.
Reginald just go open the door.
Okay. Quinny's like, yeah, you get it, man. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, so hello, come on in.
And the rider just yells, "Reginald! I'd heard, but I did not suspect. How wonderful!" And just immediately grabs you in a surprisingly strong hug, given their frame.
They'll play it. Hey, that's great. Yeah, no, I'm here. It's nice to see you too.
You live, we shall snort many diamonds tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I let's just say I've changed. I'm missing a lot of memories, but I'm back. So,
Yes, a common occurrence when one is thought dead.
yeah, exactly. So we've got Quinny and Moss, and that's
Hi.
Farthole, and the king is upstairs, but I can get the king if you want.
Yes, I have come to meet the new rulers of Akar to ensure our alliances are still intact. Pardon me a second. And then you hear like a snap hiss, and she pulls the helmet off, and like the eyes immediately snap out, and she kind of shakes out her hair. Think kind of a bit of like a young Michelle Yeoh vibe. So like just like a lot of dignity, a lot of kind of like warrior bearing. She's got sort of the side of her head shaved. There's some tattooing kind of under it's grown in a little bit. So there's some like faint tattoos under there. violet eyes, and wearing just like a lipstick that matches her eyes, but also kind of carries down a little bit like Ventress in Star Wars. So just a little bit of like an extended makeup situation into her jawline. So she shakes out her hair and just says, "This is indeed a wonderful day, and such a wonderful new court to me. Not that, of course, we weren't fans of the old guard, but the fact that you, Reginald, live and that you've taken the throne, this is what we always talked about, isn't it?"
Yeah, well, to be clear, I haven't taken the throne. I'm the general of the armies. We've got a different king, King Butthole.
Your brother. Well, this is an interesting turn of events, and you support this.
Oh, 110%. I'm fully in line for the throne. I believe the future is bright. I'm here to fully support it. This is the regime we're going with.
Okay, so clearly you're talking to someone who knows you, or knew this universe, Reginald.
Yeah.
You are being honest with her. How much... Basically, I'm looking for, do we need a role here for anything you're trying to do? Are you trying to convince her you're still that Reginald? What's the play here? Or is Reginald just literally being like, no, I'm just going to tell this lady stuff and hope for the best?
Yeah, I think he's leaning towards that. He doesn't really have political aspirations here. He doesn't want to take charge. Frankly, he doesn't want to negotiate. This is yep, I believe in the boss. You should talk to the boss. Like, this is just buying handover time until Butthole shows up.
Okay, can you roll me a persuasion check then, please?
15.
Okay, one moment. Okay. So she kind of narrows her eyes at you a little bit, but nods and says, I must admit, Reginald, it's a little strange to me that you're so enthusiastic about being second in line after all the talks and schemes of our youth to overthrow your father and take control of Akka. Well, I perhaps that's growth. We all must serve, I suppose. But she seems to buy, like, she's confused, but she buys that you're being legitimate. Like, she isn't reading this as the fucking what just yet. So she turns to the rest of you and sort of gives you a stiff salute with just a bit of a wink to Quinny. I think kind of a game recognized game thing at the sword.
Sword will retract into his hand, given the geniality everyone is kind of putting out there.
Yeah, and she like there's a little bit of a grin of recognition. It's like when you see someone with a t-shirt with a logo on it that like you know and they know, but a lot of people don't. There's just a little bit of like a to that, and she says, my apologies to you, the new court. I assumed I would be meeting more folks from Akka, but well, we do know how these things go, don't we? I am Felthane Vinton Charlemagne of Vassar.
Felthane Vinton Charlemagne?
Is that 3 names or 2?
My title is Felthane of. That's how rather high up within the warlock knights of Vassar. But I can understand if you are not from here. Gather from your garb, you are, and it's like she just like looks at the weird collection of clothes that you've accumulated over time. She's like, I don't even know what the fuck that is, which means you're very well traveled. So well met. Yes,
I woke up like this, gesturing to the cave.
Doesn't know what to make of that, but
I came from heaven.
Great. Heaven. That's very funny. You're very funny. I think I like you.
Oh, yay!
But yes, you all may call me Vinton. After all, we are friends. Should be on a first name basis, and Vassar is nothing if not a friend of Akka.
Vassar.
Yes.
Yes,
We
Vassar.
I gather from your. I'm pretending to know where this is, but not necessarily knowing where this is. We are located. To the east. We are long-standing friends of Akka. The Warlock Knights and the Unseen Hand have done business for quite some time. The Ironfell Council has always been very grateful for the aid of Akka, and such things. The arrival of the Lich Lord was certainly a change of pace here. Of course, we've had our challenges in Vassar as well, so I just wanted to arrive and reintroduce myself in case you were people we hadn't met. I had heard that Reginald had returned triumphant, and here he is with his idiot brother apparently as king, but, I'm sure he's grown as well as you seem to have, and of course our new friends Moss and Quinny, and Shows the goblin. She says, "My funny friend
Farthole!
Farthole."
I'm a priest!
Indeed.
Sure is.
Wait, what are you a priest of?
Priest of Butthole!
Can you roll me a religion check, please?
As Farthole?
So
I got to rebuild this sheet at some point.
apparently you do. So generally speaking, for the way we're going to play your council that isn't PCs is we will determine kind of loosely what we think their modifier would be on a check. Since Farthole is all religion all the time, I'm going to say you can have a +5.
Cool. Then he rolled a 17.
17. Okay. He says it with such conviction that Vinton just kind of rolls with it. Like, she's obviously never heard of Butthole. But, you know, as you'd imagine from someone who is a member of the Warlock Knights, not unheard of for new gods to pop up or cults or what have you. And just kind of nods in a sort of like a, yeah, cool. And you see her kind of quietly mutter like, Butthole, I must tell the voice of Telos of this. Well, excellent. Farthole, cleric of Butthole. And where is the king? I wish to pay my respects.
He's upstairs, just a second!
And Farthole will run up the stairs and be like,
You got any friends downstairs?
what? Okay. Walks to the front, takes a deep breath, stands up straight, gets like, for lack of a better term, puts on his butthole face, and turns and walks down the stairs and says, hello. I'm imagining he's met Vinton, or he'd be aware of Vinton, or what's his relationship?
Yeah, you would have known Vinton as, well, actually, roll me a history check, please, as Butthole, and then I'll tell you what else you know.
11.
Okay, so you remember Vinton as one of Reginald's shitty friends. Vassar was an allied state. Very much like your parents basically trotted you out like around a car. I doubt you would have been like sent on diplomatic missions.
No.
So, what you know, and so you rolled an 11 on your history check. Okay, so you don't know a ton about Vassar other than they're scary. They were, when people would come to court, they were scary people to have at court. And in a car that kind of says something. Granted, when you were growing up in a car, like your parents were the scariest things.
Everything was scary, yeah.
And the pageantry was pretty high. Like when Archibald was in full sway, it was everyone was in the gold dust makeup. Everyone's names were like Bloodthirster, Murderington, and like it's just now you've recognized kind of how silly that was. The folks from Vassar kind of felt like the scary bits without the pageantry, like show up in this black clad armor. You know that the Warlock Knights rule the nation with an iron fist, and the subjects are under heel. Like it is a sad place like it's a very class based place, and like the Warlock Knights rule with an iron fist. So Vinton would have been like a mean bully kid that your brother hung out with, because Reginald's your younger brother, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So like it was a weird thing where you would get bullied by your younger brother's friends because they would often show up and expect to befriend you, and when it was clear that you weren't what they were looking for, then they would probably send the younger sibling to go befriend the younger sibling. So yeah, you remember Vinton very much as like just like a mean kid that Reginald palled around with a lot, that get into a lot of trouble. Think like a distant cousin, basically.
Yeah.
Like someone who, when they showed up, they got along thick as thieves, but like didn't hang around, each other a lot.
Vinton, welcome to our nation.
Bobbert, you have gotten ugly. That is some impressive scarring, my friend. What did you do?
Oh, I died and got set on fire. There's been a lot of things that have happened over the course of my life. Welcome. Obviously, you've met the council. What can we do for you?
Well, and she kind of, as soon as you say council, catches herself, and you catch like a full break in her. Well, actually, let me roll and make sure it's a full break. Oh yeah, that's a 2. A full break in her kind of like diplomatic bearing, because she literally just realized that she isn't talking to the kid brother anymore. She's talking to the king of the Ka, and there's just a full moment of like, oh shit.
At that ugly remark, Quinny would have been like leaning over to Juniper as like the chief justice, being like, "Are we all right with someone talking to the fucking king this way?" And then seeing that she's apparently catching herself as well.
Yeah, there's just a hot
Be like,
second
okay,
of like, and then
asked and
immediately
answered.
drops into like a deep bow, and comes up and says, Of course, my lord. I have simply come to extend warm greetings on behalf of the Warlock Knights and the Ironfell Council. We have always counted the great nation of Akka as an ally, and under new leadership, we wanted to ensure that our diplomatic ties remain strong, particularly in light of the aggression we're facing on our borders from Damara. Your predecessors had offered assistance. However, once the Lich Lord arrived, it seemed there were other priorities, but we were promised eventual aid. So I've simply come to reopen the diplomatic channels. I wasn't, I will admit, expecting to re-meet you, King Bobbert, and yet here we are, and I respect your authority over this nation and your position. It would seem that you have truly grown into what your parents always hoped for you, and you deposed them. So truly, and like genuine smile, like in kind of a like, perhaps I misjudged you as a child. I hope you can forgive the follies of youth in the name of diplomacy of adults.
Yes. We all made a lot of mistakes as children, and we're now in a situation where, I've kind of become what my parents wanted to me, but in a lot more ways I haven't, because, I mean, we killed my dad and we killed my mother, and the whole Lich Lord thing was a bit of a disaster, and we've definitely pissed off the whole world. But I will review copies of our agreements. I don't intend to breach any agreements made by Akka previously unless they are of dubious legal nature. We'll get into that. But if your neighbors are being shitty, we're happy to help you make that situation less shitty. We really believe that we need to establish peace in this region, especially after our recent reputation, where we may all be punished for the sins of those who came before us.
And she leans in a little conspiratorially and she says, now when you say you killed Archibald and Emily, was that Reginald too, or was that you?
Okay, it's a complicated scenario. I killed Emily.
Well, you killed the Lich version of Emily. Really, Declan killed Emily, right?
I don't know if that's the kind of semantics our king
sorry.
wants to get into right now.
I'm sorry.
Regardless, you and your team
effort, right?
Yes. Technically, we killed my father and another version of my father from another dimension, and we killed my mother twice.
Impressive. And then she kind of like looks over her shoulder at Reginald and kind of leans into you and says, seems like he turned out to be the disappointing one after all.
No, he's doing great. Honestly, it's been a real journey. We killed the... I also killed the original Reginald because he was really a problem.
Original Reginald.
Yeah.
But no.
What?
No, that didn't happen.
I'm going to need deception check from Quinny at disadvantage.
So on the disadvantage, it's 11 deception.
Yep.
Plus 13 for 24. I bet this lady's got some wits.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
She just smiles and kind of nods and says, well, that, of course, yes. The slip of the tongue. I think things make a bit more sense now. And she kind of like looks over her shoulder at Reginald and a little sadly, and then looks back to you. Says, well, I am relieved to hear that you've helped with so many of these dimensional threats. This is something that the Ironfell Council has taken a notice of and has paid attention to, and I must say the prospect of alternate realities is a troubling one to the Warlock Knights. We are quite happy with how things operate in Vassal right now, and the idea that it could be otherwise, well, the Warlock Knights worked very hard to install the system we have now, and I do not love the idea that someone might just come in and ruin it. So peace in this region sounds wonderful, assuming, of course, that Vassal and our sister state Akka are atop that peace. First among equals, if you will.
I mean, equals is great. If we've got stuff that's working, let's keep it working. We're not here to try to overthrow the world, especially not Vassal. You were saying Damara is the nation that you're having conflicts with?
Yes,
what's going on with that? What are they doing?
It is a long-standing issue ever since Bobbert, I'm not sure how much of our regional drama you've been party to, but some time ago our nations were joined as a nation known as Bloodstone. However, that collapsed, and there are some who would seek to reunify and return to ancient, pitiful ways, and Vassal has no interest in repartnering with the lesser folk of Damara. Truly, these upstart nations, they desire so much and earn so little. So, no, we do not seek reunification. We do not seek to be conquered. And the fact that we haven't wiped them off the map is a mercy they don't seem to recognize or acknowledge. So, we simply seek Aka's assistance in reminding them of their place deep beneath our very equal, very merciful heel.
All right, well, I'll send an invitation to Damara to send a diplomat or an envoy or whoever they want, and then I can have a conversation with them about this conflict, and I'm sure we can bring this thing to a close.
Great. I look forward to helping you bury the body. On that note, I have brought a gift. Of course, as the ruler of Aka, it seems only fitting that Vassal should properly welcome you to your throne. And she turns around and says Sweet Chompy, would you mind? And the Wyvern, just from outside, goes like, and like digs around in the saddlebag and tosses a pouch, which he catches out of the air. It is like a cool dice bag. It's made of chainmail. There's like some rusty red on it that may or may not be blood. And she just kind of like drops to one knee and kind of holds the bag out to you, and she says, a gift from the Warlock Knights to the ruler of Aka.
Well, thank you, and then he'll take it.
So the bag feels like it's full of marbles, like large marbles, and you kind of roll them around, and inside, God help me, are several orbs of weather control.
Whoa.
So the way these things work is each of them has one charge. I've got the full rules for you that I'll give you off air. But essentially, each one can alter the weather in a certain way if you were staring at the sky with them. So if you have like clear line of sight, you can change the direction of the wind. You can make it hotter. You can make it colder. And you could make it rain or make it stop raining. So she just essentially says, in the interest of course, our difficult climates and making things just a little bit more comfortable for you and the other lords, ladies, and noble folk of Aka.
This is a tremendous gift and a great honor. Thank you for this. I thank you, I thank Ironfell, and I thank all of the Mage Knights.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I will be sure to pass that along to the other Warlock Knights. We will all be thrilled to hear that we have a friend here in Aka. Now, my journey has been long. Chompy is a sweet, smooth ride, but both he and I require some rest. So I'll be making my way to the Embassy Manor and taking up my usual residence. I assume that it remains intact. I understand there was a bit of a civil war situation.
Yeah, I mean, if it isn't intact, I'll talk with Patty Two Eyes, and we'll make sure that stuff is repaired for you as quickly as possible.
Excellent.
I assume it is as well. We've done a pretty good job, Quinny. I'm pretty sure that buildings are still standing. We didn't have a lot of breakage in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we did most of the murders
Buildings
in the
are
streets,
fine.
so buildings are good.
Murder in the streets is the way to do it. Keep the architecture safe. Why spend more for that? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, wonderful. Well, yes, I will send for this Patricia Two Eyes if I, in fact, need any additional things. But Chompy and I know the way. It was lovely to see you again, Bobbert. Reginald, Quinny, Sheriff, Cleric, and Dog. All right. Excellent. Excellent. This seems like a successful reintroduction. I am pleased. Chompy, are you pleased? And the Wyvern just goes like, and just says, well, who could say it better than that? Those of you with Speak with Animals, not saying anything. That is what it is saying.
I was going to say,
it is not speaking
it's not
language.
an animal.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's just
that's a whole other thing.
Just hearing monsters
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah, I would have had to cast it, so I'm not trying.
And with that, she clicks the helmet back on and says, "We shall speak soon." Oh, hang on. And then she like snaps her fingers, and the eyes burst into flame. She says, there we are. We shall speak soon. And she mounts Chompy and with a kind of like kick into his flank. Chompy spreads wide his wings and just does like a classic Batman, like drop off the side of the building and just kind of soars up over the Coliseum and up into that area where Gary's residence was.
Okay.
So kind of you can imagine sort of apartments and things, and then there are certainly like there's enough monarchy or like noble folk here that there are like plenty of mansions and other things sort of in the northwest. Away from the hustle and bustle.
Sure.
So she flies off to like a spooky fucking Bates style house on a hill
house
with
on a
like
hill
a giant
kinda,
like spooky spiky gate around it. And like there are a number of those, and honestly it could just be a lord's house. This one happens to be a thing. You see Chompy plant on a perch and she disappears inside.
Pretty fucking cool. When he just like says to himself
Fucking
under his
cool.
breath.
Not cool at all. I mean,
Just,
The Wyvern's cool.
the Wyvern is cool.
yeah.
It's a nice hat,
We should have someone to keep an eye on her, though, because the way she talked about lesser folk,
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
yeah,
Yeah, they're not nice people. This
No.
is
Assuming
I just don't want anyone to be like, killed at a hand because
Well,
they like look at her the wrong way.
Moss,
So
I'm betting we can't touch her without it being looked at as an act of war.
Yeah, but if she touches a citizen, it's a crime, and
Yeah.
I don't have to respect those fucking laws. So it's
Okay.
all going to come
Good.
down to who's the strongest bully. Yes, Spymaster, put some people on that.
I got one guy so far.
You got a lot of haters. Just tell them to stand around and keep an eye on
Okay,
what
the
happens.
haters are killers, not spies. I'm building the spy network up from the ground up. I'm not exactly inheriting a great Akka spy network.
Well, you do have a whole bunch of loyalists.
And we've got
Some
all the books.
ne'er-do-wells who
Yeah, well,
look up to me.
And we
or
got all the books from my mom that are just in this room. She was running a spy network.
you've got
the Unseen Hand?
Yeah,
I'm inheriting the Unseen Hand?
somebody's got to.
Whoa.
they did have plans for you, Quinny. Apparently those plans were to inherit.
Wow. I don't know why I did not connect those dots until now.
Well, whose hands are more unseen than yours?
I'll look at my hands.
Roll sleight of hand check.
Oh my God, do I not see my hands?
Well, the problem is that you're falling in love with your mother in the past. So, like, yeah, if you don't make way for Crispin Glover.
Sorry, just 1 second. Sleight of hand. That's a 31.
Whose hands are more unseen than Quinny Brownbarrow's?
My just gloves fall off my wrist stumps.
Baba Yaga's like, hey, sorry, I was trying to think. My bad.
You look down and your cloak is wrapped around, hiding your hands.
Oh, man, you wish that's how the cloak worked.
But yeah, so like you got like you're going to be secret. You're going to keep things safe. You're going to do the spying that you got to do.
I guess I got to do some reading. I've only ever really known Unseen Hand from the perspective of a expendable tool.
Yeah, and I mean, I know how you hate doing admin, but the thing I want to remind you is you're stealing an entire spy network from an evil woman.
I mean, I did an okay bit of research back when Alan disappeared, trying to figure out how to bring her back. I was bad at it and didn't amount to anything, but
This is just
I
like
did a lot of reading.
Yeah, this is just taking over like a more murdery thieves guild.
All right. Okay.
So it's worth just reminding everyone who we've got in town, although this does raise the question of how many incredibly valuable assets you have at the Fortress of Forlorn Hope. So might be worth reconnecting with them at some point soon. So you've got Peppermindy kicking around somewhere. You've got Balthazar Durian, the war wizard who loves magic missiles. You've got Seraphina Bellwinter, who Moss might murder, but is around and is snarky.
What do you
Good
mean?
archer.
I'm not gonna murder her.
You guys had a real bad
But I wouldn't
relationship.
murder her.
Well, Day's young.
Tom.
Oh.
Well, that's not murder.
Oh, okay.
Got old
wow.
Patty
All right.
two eyes.
I see.
The whole room is like, oh, so the police are exempt from murder.
Yeah.
No, that's not me though.
Debatable. You've got
Your Honor, I was a wolf at the time.
Gorkraks, lumberjacks. And then you've got Pitch, who might not be the best person to guard someone quietly, but it's
Yeah.
possible. Fernald the Fierce, cleric, kicking around. And then, of course, there's Kazos, who has kind of helped.
Yeah. We
put
were
together.
talking about your appointments there, Butthole.
Yeah.
dropping some names of people who, aren't here. They're
Yeah.
at the fortress kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm going to send some birds out today. We got to send messages out to the people at the fortress, and we also got to just tell the world that the liches are dead and there's new management who's anti-lich, because we need to differentiate ourselves. So I can send out like an announcement of that today, and then we got to do this vote for the new name of the country like overnight, so we can announce the new name tomorrow, so we can get ahead of this thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
You think I could recruit Trax into the spy network?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
You don't have any plans for him or nothing?
Trax and Dax, now go for it.
Okay, yeah, I'll take the package deal then. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. And you got Mog, and you can have people locally if we can figure out who you need.
And
Honestly, they're jerks, but I would have liked Declan and Honor System, but I understand they're probably going to be busy designing buildings and shit.
Yeah, I also don't think they want to do more like wet work. It seems like that's kind of a thing they're done with, if they can be.
What?
They tried to learn to be farmers. I don't think they're like, let's get back in the spy game.
I don't know if you've been down there at the farm fields. They're bad at it.
Yeah, but like, it's not about what they're good at. It's about what they want to be. You have to let people improve themselves. Remember how bad you were at being a good person? And
Yeah,
now
but that's me.
Yeah, but now you're better at being a good person
Yeah,
because you put the time in.
yeah.
So they're going to put the time into being, nice people.
No,
who
why
don't
don't you
do
just
murders.
help me do stuff? All right, fine.
Quinny's just seen too many like Tombstone, Unforgiven, Red Dead Redemption. Like he's just seen all the plays of things where we've established you've never seen a play.
No, I've never seen plays with these people. Everyone talks about referencing all these plays. Like, when do you have time to see all these plays?
We're very cultured.
Yeah.
But just like all
when
of
I
these-
was 30.
yeah. All these people who have like tried to become farmers then were forced back in. Great. Okay. I'll also say I think it makes sense that Vital Statistics is the one guarding the arena.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah,
like if anyone
100%.
tries to leave,
Okay.
he just beats them back into the prison.
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay, so I can send out all those messages. We've got that. I got to figure out what's going on with Damara. Here's the challenge. They're not nice people, but...
What do you know about this place?
Oh, it's terrible. They're like the warlock wizards who are brutally repressing the population. Like, imagine the people my dad would want to team up with, and that's them.
Right. So they're talking about, a strong bond with the Ka. They're talking about how your dad ran things. They liked that. They were on board with that.
Yeah, they're a brutal dictatorship that retains tyrannical control over their people and wants to expand until they control the world. Because everything my dad did was about eventually wanting to control the world.
Warlock Knights sounded cool and kind of like, I got some like warlock stuff going on, but I guess that's not really...
Yeah, I don't think you swore yourself to a demon.
Well,
Not in a pact declaring that you wanted evil powers to do evil for eternity and the power to expand evil.
I was disassembled and assembled over and over again until I signed a contract I did not read.
Yes, but what
His
I'm saying,
mom has the contract now.
But imagine you showed up and were like, "Hey, I'll help you disassemble people so much. I really want this contract."
That's what we're talking
That's
about?
what them. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
willing participants with the worst demons.
Nerds. Okay. So, I mean, like, I'm, reluctantly, like, into this, Okay. So, like, an army of them?
Yeah, it's like a regiment, like they're knights.
Jesus.
Bunch of, I'm assuming, Tom, a bunch of them ride flying things.
Yeah, it's a bad scene in Vasa. So the Warlock Knights are the ruling class, but there are it's not like just a small regiment and then everyone else is just like foot soldiers. Like it is a large group of very scary.
It's a mageocracy.
Yeah, well, and they aren't all mages. They do call themselves the Warlock Knights. They're not all warlocks, but there is a lot of like well-controlled magic there. You would know that magic is highly carefully controlled and policed because, of course, the danger is you could become a Warlock Knight, but most of them are magic users. They don't all ride wyverns, but they are known to like mount up on spooky things. So the fact that like a Felthane is pretty high up the pecking order, but she's not the only one. Like there are a bunch of Felthanes and they all probably have spooky mounts. So yeah, safe to say, what's well, I don't know, let's get I kind of want a diplomacy check of some sort, but we don't have those. So
Diplomacy
Ryan,
is
let's do an insight, and we'll just say that this is tapping your combination of history and God insight.
That makes sense. That is a 28.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the fact that she showed up without without an army is pretty telling of both how powerful she is, but also how tight the relationship with Akka was, that they would just send one person. You know that Felthane is roughly in the middle of the pecking order, so she's not no one, but she's not like top of the Warlock Knights. Yeah, they worship the spooky gods. This is something I think you would know as a cleric. So they're like, when everyone else is like, we must stop the rebirth of Tiamat, they're like, like, tell us, Tiamat, they seem pretty cool. Like, we should just have those people. So yeah, they have an army. They are scary. And yeah, a ton of magic users, but it's not, I don't want you to think of it as like there's a small regiment of knights. It's
No.
There is an army of warlock knights.
Are they an Akka-sized nation? Are they bigger than Akka? Like, just so I know the ratio.
I would say it's worth considering that most of the places we'll be going are larger than Akka, only because Akka is a
small but mighty kind of thing.
Yeah, and also it's in our very very twisted and complex dumb Faerun ecosystem. Like, Akka doesn't exist in any other nation because Emily didn't intercede in any other nation. There are versions of Akka in a bunch of different realms, but they're all very different. So like Reginald's Akka is different because there was no Emily. So Reginald's Akka is just like, this is just Archibald making shit. This Akka is like with the interjection of someone who came from Faerun 2099 with a bunch of shit. So like this Akka is bigger and kind of like, this one could have stood against the Black Spider. Reginald's couldn't. Reginald's had to team up with.
So in terms of equivalency, it would be like this Akka's military at normal levels would be equivalent to that other nation's military, but might not have the fully expanded nation because Akka's all in on military.
Correct. Yeah, and like the other thing to keep in mind. Sorry, this is getting into weird lore town, but I guess it's probably worth it.
Yay!
The other thing to keep in mind is that Akka's trajectory was thrown off. So if Akka had not gotten obsessed with summoning a god, if they had instead been expansionists, they would probably be closer to Vasa. But Vasa also had a massive civil war, and also the warlock knights overthrew the Witch King. So I mean, the good news is you don't have to deal with the Witch King, but like they also had a bunch of stuff that stunted their expansionist view. So what you're basically looking at is Akka turned inward and then lost its trajectory. Vasa had a massive civil war and now has like reestablished itself. So yes, there, in terms of army sizes, like Akka and Vasa probably would have been able to throw down back in the day, but then Akka lost most of its army to zombies, etc.
Yeah, so if if Akka was functionally where we would ideally want this to be, it'd be a fair fight.
Yeah, I think so.
Not now, but in that circumstance, if we rebuilt.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the challenges with Vasa, as you understand it, is because they are warlock knights. The other challenge is there will be fewer of them, but they'll be far more powerful.
Yeah.
But not fewer to a like. It's not like Alexander's 200 like super jacked up Macedonians on horses. It's like an army of weird wizard folk.
There are 10 warrior wizards on wyverns, which is its own
which
problem.
is a bit of a concern. But similarly, Akka was working on channeling the god of war, which really would have tipped that scale. So in terms of sizes, I would say neither of these cities is as big as what I'm going to say, but like Vasa is to Waterdeep what Akka is to Neverwinter. So like it's not that like Vasa is bigger, but it's not by scale. This is all very difficult. I'm sorry.
So if we had a full military, it'd be a straight fight. We'd probably lose it if we went to war with them right now, unless we ran around assassinating people, got really fucking ugly.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to go to war with Vasa and you were able to take out that top echelon, the rest of the nation would fall pretty quickly because it's a top down class system. So if you can decapitate the like shitty rule under my heel, all the other assholes. Honestly, it's closer to the Horde in terms of like everyone wants to step on someone else's neck to get up. Yeah. So if you can just fucking cut through that.
I was going to say, it feels like we just finished liberating a country under the same kind of thing where like people on top are only there because of support from the bottom that they've basically subdued. So if we're talking about it, it would potentially be the same kind of thing of secret incursion in there to depose the leaders and then rebellion.
This all falls into a category of I don't want to have to lie about this, says Butthole. So let me finish the thought. So if I had a spy master who was going to look into who we would have to eliminate to take over a nation and perhaps put together a kind of action plan in case we have to carry it out, That'd be a really useful plan that might be useful in future that I shouldn't know about right now because they're my friends, and I'm not going to say that they're not my friends until I have definitive proof that they're not. They're my friends. And he's just going to look at you and think the word zone of truth as hard as he can. And then say, a zone of truth can be used on anybody. So do I have a plan to attack their nation? Hell no, I don't. They're friends.
All right.
Moss just whispers to Quinny,
Like his ears, he's not hearing this whisper.
I think it might be worth it to put some people into Damara to try to see if there's enough there for like an uprising that could help.
Yeah, I mean, I got to figure that out. I think right now I might just go do it myself. Just go.
Oh wow, okay.
Talk to her, and then once I figure out what the unseen hand situation is, yes, I will put people on her.
Yeah, if we need to talk to her, I could also join you. She seems to have liked Reginald, and
I don't know if that's going to carry any water anymore, buddy. Butthole just kind of blew the big secret. She knows you're not her Reginald.
yeah, but I mean,
She looked kind of disappointed.
yeah, but then you just say that he went somewhere and brought back another Reginald because he had to kill the first one. There's ways we can spin this. You interrupted him with the big like, "Hey, bro, what's going on?" And I don't know if he had somewhere he was going with it or not.
Okay.
So it might work. I'm just saying. Listen, if she liked me before, she likes me now. I'll give her a kiss. I don't give a shit.
What?
Yeah, what?
You're a spy master now, and you're against the honeypot. You got to use the honeypot.
Honeypot. And you're volunteering?
There's no pot sweeter than this boy.
I
What?
am
Goblin
trying,
Jr. like looks at Quinny being like,
trying to remember the last time this guy volunteered for anything. What's going on right now? Did you feeling like a connection or something, or?
Well, I mean, no, she seems like a psycho, but I can make psychos like me. Also, I'm in a position of power here, and I have an army, so I can make plays that I wouldn't have made previously.
You're like a whole other guy.
Then again, you are pretty cute.
What is going on with you?
Listen, we've never had the ability to actually have a relationship. All our strategies have been hide, not die, try to kill someone, not die. That's been the whole strategy.
Why do you think that's different? It's just the same, but on like a fucking national scale.
No, now you got new tools, bro. You got to use the new tools.
Bro?
Yeah.
Who are you?
I don't even know, but I'm in power now. It's weird. It's going to my head.
Butthole,
yeah.
can you roll me a perception check, please?
Oh, thank God. That is a 14.
14. So, just so I'm clear, because I was reading up on Telos City, which I'll explain in a minute. I was pretty close, but a little off. This is Reginald suggesting the honeypot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Butthole, you're observing Quinny's resistance to Reginald trying to seduce someone. You're interpreting it as
Jesus Christ.
Quinny being jealous, not as this is an unsound tactic. Like, this whole thing feels like a weird, like, no, I don't want you to pretend to be someone's boyfriend.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
Oh
you
my
don't want me
God.
to do it, so then you do it. You go kiss this lady, make her fall in love with you. You're a spy master now. You have to do these things. You have to make personal sacrifices. It may hurt you, but it strengthens the nation, and try to have fun doing it.
Sorry, point of who's talking right now?
That's Reginald.
Okay, sorry.
Butthole's more down here. Reginald's more up here.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I mean, maybe I will. I haven't done a honeypot thing before, but have you?
I mean,
Like, does either one of us really have an edge here?
no,
Only
but
Butthole has with Merle Street.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel like, I've got like, if there's a crush on Reginald, there's the advantage there. But you probably have like a better body and a more impressive hog.
Okay,
so that's
hold
an
on.
option too.
No, I guess as spy master,
Uh-huh.
I should be sending you. I shouldn't be doing it myself.
Oh no, you
So
can do
you
it
should-
yourself. You're very important. Do you trust someone else to do this job?
I never would have considered you for this job, but you seem pretty keen
I
to
don't know, but
volunteer.
you're a better liar than me.
Just as a point of order, Moss, as the Chief Justice, how is this sitting for you from a legal and ethical perspective?
Fine.
Because
pretty
Butthole
quick.
basically
Pretty
told Quinny to do all the dirty stuff that no one's supposed to know about, but now they're talking about it in front of the person whose only job is justice and law. So, yeah, how's it?
Yeah.
Would you intercede in any of this, or are you just gonna let this
Here's
ride?
the thing. There's a lot of shit going on, and the way Moss is thinking about it, other than dealing with like their own shit, she's responsible for the people justice in Aka, not necessarily justice outside of
Dig
Aka.
it. Yeah, I like it.
Also, she really doesn't like unjust people, and she sees
Okay,
a lot of injustices happening and would be in favor of putting that down.
That also feels very sheriffy to me, which is like, I am responsible for the town that I am the sheriff of.
Yes.
Everywhere else should have their own
100%.
sheriff.
Before the merger with Sheriff Moss, don't know if that would have been her response, but
good. Okay, I just want to check. Also, just as a quick note, I was remarkably close on my assumptions here, but Vasa and Aka are actually a lot closer in size, but we're talking like 15,000 population of the big city in Vasa. I'd say Aka's like an 8,000
Okay, yeah.
person nation. Vasa, the big city is Telos City, seat of the Warlock Knights. It's a big spooky place, and they are very protected by geography. So very similar to Aka in a lot of ways, in that they are like, the city is like a fortress, but like tucked away behind inhospitable terrain. Anyway, just want to throw that out there so that we're all on the same page.
All right.
All right,
Carry
so
on.
here's what I'm thinking. I should just run the army.
Yeah.
You go, you be sexy. See if you can win her over. If you can't, then I'll be running an army, and we could circle back to me as the fallback plan. Or, if she's not into either of us, Chief Justice.
So if she's not into either of us after 2 failed honeypot attempts, instead of stopping with that tactic, we try a third time?
This is why I'm not the spy master anymore. My theory was we could just keep
keep
trying until
someone
you succeed.
into submission.
You find they're going to like a brand of honey, and I don't know which brand, but if we give them enough brands, they're going to be like, maybe honey's pretty good.
All right, I will give this a shot. What's the downside here? What's the worst case scenario? She knows she's being honeypotted, and what?
I mean, she's probably going to assume she's being honeypotted, but then it's just up to who can get more information out of the relationship.
All right, I'll
You're a
go
better
buy a
thief than
bottle
just
of
about
wine and...
So do you guys have like an open relationship or something?
What the fuck are you talking about?
This is about work.
I don't know. Okay, it's fine. I mean, I'll let whatever.
Shattered Moss can't handle it. She has no self-confidence right now, so she's like, this is fine.
Love is love, I guess. It's fine.
Love is
I'm
love.
not gonna
It's
judge.
a honeypot. It's not love at all.
This is
Okay.
this is about work.
Yeah.
It's not weird. It could
It's
be one of us.
trickery.
Here's the
It's-
deal. We'd do this together if that wouldn't make it weirder.
It would absolutely make it weirder. Do not encourage him.
That's what. Okay. Do you know what? I'm sorry. I interjected. I don't need to be asking these questions. It's your personal business.
You hear a pounding on the door.
Hey, there's a pounding at the door.
I heard that too.
Rachel will go down and open it. Hello.
Patty Two Eyes stands there a little exhausted, and she's like, okay, so I've been getting word out about the vote, and it seems like people are kind of excited, but like I don't want to step on any toes after the whole burning all the crops thing. So you just let me know. People are starting to pick their favorites. There's a lot of talk in the streets about what kind of name they want to vote for. They're very confused because a lot of people don't understand why there's so many butt-related things, but they know they got 3 options, and they'll listen to them. So you let me know when you want to do that vote, and I'll make sure it happens.
Seeing Patty Two Eyes, Butthole take his fingers out of his ears and be like, okay, so yeah, I'd say let's do the vote tonight. All the votes are in by sundown, and then we'll know what the country's name. Does that work for everybody?
Should we have, I can do zone of truthy people around just in case we suspect anyone's trying to
You're worried about election fraud for the name of the country?
No, it doesn't matter, does it?
Who's
I just want the first election or the first vote that we have to be like legit. And
Are you going to run it?
I mean, logically, you're the
yeah.
Chief Justice.
Okay.
I should.
Put me down for Ashgard. Quinny Brown Barrow says Ashgard. I'm going.
I'm going to go for
Just like leave.
I'm going to go for Asgard. And yeah, get the town watch to run the polling station, so nobody's going to come in twice or whatever. Yeah, you're in charge of that.
Yeah. Right, because they'll know everyone. Sorry, I'm thinking. Yeah.
Butthole, can you roll me an
8,000
insight
people.
check?
That is a 23.
Moss is not normally this shaken. I mean, the werewolf thing you're aware of, but like this seems to be something more than that. It's just like it's not something you necessarily need to act on, but also a pretty intuitive guy and spends a lot of time taking care of the people around him. Granted, you're now taking care of a nation, so this may not be something he cares about. But I'm just saying,
No, he has.
you're able to pick up on like this is like Juniper and Moss have both been incredibly confident people, and I mean, you didn't see your double ones, but like we know about the double ones, so. Yeah. You notice that she's a bit shaken. But again, there are other matters. Just one.
He's only got to counsel like 4 people. It's important. So Patty Two Eyes can go off to start the election.
Okay, I'm going to go get everyone around. They've never heard of elections before, so they were kind of confused about this whole democracy thing. But I explained it, and they're kind of into it now.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
We might need to put her in charge of the newspaper or something because the way she can spread things is incredible. Okay, so
You hear her just screaming randomly down the hall, just yelling at anyone she sees.
I can hear the voice of a nation.
People.
Okay, so Reginald Vismuth is downstairs as the only remaining competent general. Crendon will get here eventually. I'm sending out birds. And Doc Huckleberry's here, so promote Doc Huckleberry, and you can do that. Quinny,
Yeah.
do whatever you were talking about
Yeah.
when I wasn't listening.
Right.
But just make sure to protect your personal relationships, your heart, and the bonds that are meaningful to you.
What is going on with you and Moss?
What?
Well, it's just all weird with you guys. Personal relationships, open relationships. We're all just on a council. We're friends.
Listen, love is love. You need to just be who you want to be.
Yeah. Who is saying love's not love?
I don't know.
Except for the thing we were discussing that you can't know about.
Yeah.
That's when love is not love. Love is a different thing then, but you don't need to know about
It's a
that.
different...
I think everyone's just trying to respect like you and Reginald, and it was like a new thing that came up like under a strange, really stressful conditions, and no one had the chance to like take it in.
Why is it new to respect me?
It's not just about you. It's about you and it's about Reginald. And we're trying to be supportive of your relationship.
We're fine. We're good. Relationship? Hold on.
Yeah.
Tell me, zone of truth, what you think is happening between Reginald and I.
Well, Reginald's gone, just to be clear, to paint this picture. He already went down the elevator. You and Reginald were kissing because you're in love, and then you've been in relationship since because you kissed and you were...
No, we didn't. When did we kiss?
It was the night where we were at the bar, and then you and Reginald went out for like a walk, and then you kissed at the end, and then
No.
you've
That
been
was
together.
a lie. We killed a guy. Well,
Sorry, that was Laura laughing, not Moss.
not a guy per se.
Quinny.
Guy.
Quinny, you don't have to
Guy
lie to protect
shaped-
my feelings.
I'm-
I'm aware you're
Wait.
in
Hey,
love.
zone of truth. Guy-shaped slime screeching thing. We killed him.
But then why was he giving you like engagement rings?
What? Oh,
Like a minute ago.
earlier today.
Yeah.
I think those are from the vault. He's already going through the vault, by the way. Just a heads up. He wants his third, and he took those things. They're like magic, misty step rings, switcheroo kind of rings.
Oh, so they let you like step into each other's shoes to like empower your relationship?
No, like trading places,
Oh,
like physically swapping instantaneously in a physical space.
Okay,
you
but
thought
you're
you're not real, but some tangentially your brother and I were romantically involved.
yeah, because you told me that.
Yeah, you kind of
You
kept
said that.
kept reinforcing that
I mean,
idea
that was
over
like
and over
just
again.
a throwaway lie, just to not have to deal with like, oh yeah, don't kill people, Quinny. Like, you know, I was in like a rough space because I was mourning Gary, I guess, and for whatever reason, Reginald fucking got it. He was like, let's blow off some steam in hostile territory. Like anyone we pick a fight with is kind of justified. It was all right. Your brother's all right. I'm not going to kiss him.
See, this is what happens when we try to be in charge of someone's morality and in charge of like who they become. See, he was all pressured not to tell us.
Wait, what? You're on the side of the murderer?
I don't feel like anyone's on my
No,
side.
I'm not. I just didn't want to be in charge of like his soul or whatever. But that was really important. And then I was in charge and he didn't I think that's why he didn't tell, right? Is that why? No. I don't know. I don't know.
Lied and will continue to lie for my general convenience. I thought, like, you know this, yes?
Yeah, you're a liar. But
I mean, I did.
I just want to point out, Moss, your concern with this is that because we told him to do the right thing, he committed a murder and then lied about it. if we hadn't told him to do the right thing, he'd commit a murder and just tell us. And that's the upgrade?
I still
That's
get to
probably an upgrade because then he wouldn't be lying about being in a relationship with Reginald.
Well, here's the question for you.
Which
Do we have
caused you a lot of harm, by the way. You've been really, really put out by that.
I killed my mom. There's a lot of things going on. Do we have to charge him with murder?
Well, hold on a second.
Who did you kill?
Slimy, screamy guy. I don't know. He was a wizardy guy, and he was at the portal, and we were like, hey,
He's a corpse pile summoner, actually.
corpse pile summoner. Thank you. He was like a wizardy summony guy. He was at the corpse pile, raising dead or whatever, and he had gotten off his shift, it looked like, and he was walking into an alley. We were like, hell yeah, let's cut off the supply of zombies. And, we... I'm in the zone of truth, so I was going to really embellish.
For the record, no one cast Zone of Truth. We've just been saying Zone of Truth.
No, this was where we were interviewing
but it
the
only
captains.
lasted like
That's 10
10 minutes. We're definitely past that.
Okay. In that case...
We've just been spiritually saying Zone of Truth.
Yeah,
Okay.
just been being good friends.
In that case, if Quinny's aware of that, he'll be like, and I silently and expertly killed him in like one clean shot.
Roll me a deception check. Okay. Disadvantage because they know you.
Disadvantage, so that's a 9 plus 15 for what, 24?
Can I get opposed checks of...
Excuse me, my deception is a little lower. 9 plus 13. My
22.
brain, 22, thank you.
Okay, so I need Ryan from you, insight.
I rolled a 2. It's fine. I got jack shit.
Oh, man, he's really fucking cool. And Laura, let's go with perception, I think, for you.
11.
Yeah, Quinny, we all know you're an amazing murderer. That's not actually what we're talking about here. So
Zone of truth. I'm just telling you guys.
he went down the street and he found a wizard that was doing necromancy and he murdered them. Is that murder? And he did it because he was in an emotionally turbulent state.
Here's the thing. I mean, yeah, it's probably murder. However,
Wait.
look, no.
I'm going to let you finish. I'm going to let you finish. It feels like I shouldn't, but I'm going to let you finish.
Legally, we're forming a new nation. Basically, I'm guessing that nearly every citizen of Akka has committed murder at some point. That's probably a fair assessment?
Am I on trial right now?
Yeah, surprise. You committed a random murder without permission, and you just wandered off into a war zone and killed someone without permission. It's fucked up.
Well, as a spy master, isn't probably murder kind of okay?
You weren't a spy master
Here's
then.
the
This is
thing.
why we get caught in the weird
Here's the
technicality
thing.
This is the kind of stuff you wanted me to be spy master
Here's the-
for, because
can
you
I
know
just-
I do this
Hi.
already.
Moss is raising her hand.
Okay, your hands up, Moss.
Are we going to punish people for the crimes that they committed under the leadership of Emily and Grayson?
That's a great question. Are we? What do you think?
I don't know. There was just a lot of mitigating factors, and I'm just wondering if the goal is rehabilitation. So those
Rehabilitation.
people wouldn't commit such crimes under your rule.
Maybe.
And
We don't know if that's
maybe-
true. We want that, ideally.
Then
So here's a question
do
for you.
we punish them for previous crimes under the old regime? I mean, we're creating new laws. I don't know that murder was really against the law under Emily and Grayson necessarily. I'm not saying it's morally right to murder someone, not at all.
So we're saying universal pardon.
We want a clean slate, right?
So we're pardoning everybody.
I mean, not everybody, unless
Okay,
you were
well,
like
who
a
are we not
leader. I
pardoning?
don't know.
These are important questions, and there are some people who would certainly like to know the answer that are currently marching towards the walls as the watchtower fires spring to life across the eastern walls of Akka, and horns begin to blow across the watchtowers as Captain Vismuth rushes in out of breath and just says, "King Butthole, I am sorry to interrupt important council business, but there is an army at the gates. The Purple Dragons. They have come and say they want to burn town to ground. Shall I let them in?"
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, Schrodinger's Pepper, Guy Edwards, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Nithrian, Garbo Ape, Locke, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dagger Rain, Rob L, Dia De Los Hoodless, Dio Vassis, Loki Burrito, Squishy Werewolf, Remy, Funky Head, Nomad, the Wise Paladin of the Badlands, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.